Welcome back. We are working on, I am working on the next page to this album with Stamperia's Magic Forest. And I have to show you what I did. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I got a hairy brain idea. First off, I decided I wanted to add a ribbon closure simply because this is going to be so big and so thick. So I lifted this and put tape underneath there. But I didn't like the look of just these square corners. So I decided I wanted to round the corners a little bit. So then, you know, the pockets or what I put in here, they're going to have rounded corners. But what I didn't anticipate for the next signature, which I already have done, was that means I would have to start rounding the corners that merge onto this. So when I made this second signature, we're going to see how this turns out. It was something I dreamt about, and I decided I was going to try it, so we'll see. But I do like the softer look of the rounded corner. Don't know if in practicality it's going to work when I start putting pages in, but we'll see. So anyway, this signature is going to go on the left inside panel. And this is kind of what I decided I wanted to try and do. I just got to get things put back in their respective places. Oh no, that one over here. Okay, I'm going to do a double pocket on this side and get this put in here. And there's a specific look I want to get on this, so we'll see if that happens. I'm going to try and put this in the right way. I'm using a die that will give me some added feature to making this album. This is such a plain color, even though I like it with this paper. It is so plain that it kind of hides. So I thought I would come in here and put this in, and the way I want it to look is just so. I want this piece to be hiding right underneath this cutted edge. So to do that, I need to know roughly where it's going to go. So I'm going to add a pencil mark here. I can erase that in a minute. And then I'm going to go ahead and start getting, oh, I already taped that. Did I tape that side? I did. So this one, I need it to go down first. Come on. And I'm going to put this down here. Now where my pencil mark was right there. So I should just be able to just kind of lay this down here. And I am going to do a real quick, this is at 2 1/4 and this is not quite, so I don't have it in there quite straight. So this is going to have to come up here. Right about there. Okay, this is interesting. So you get to watch me do some surgery here. So this is level here, but it means I didn't cut my paper level because I have a little bit that comes over here on this edge. So I'm just gonna trim that off. Now, if you have a different way of doing a double pocket, do it. I do not profess to be the best double pocket layer person. I just have my own way of doing things, and in the end, it turns out just fine. Now this piece, I'm going to glue in. And like I said, I want this to kind of just snuggle. I'm going to have to lift this. Now this is not turning out the way I expected. Giving me a little bit of trouble here. There we go. And then this piece. I think this piece right here is so striking. This is all one piece off of one sheet. I'm just simply trying to layer it. Now, so what you can see is now you can see where the pocket is, and this pocket lands there. And then I wanted to put a little bit of a tuck here to kind of dress this up and add another element to the page. So I'm just going to come in, I think I'll come in here about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And then that gives us a nice little tuck, and then we have these two folded pieces. And then there were two other elements. There they are. These are from the chipboard, and I want to put these out here, and then it kind of dresses this up as well. And I've played around with these a couple of different ways, and I don't want this to go this way because it looks like it's going the opposite direction. So I'm putting it what appears to be upside down, but it is then the reverse of what I have up there. Okay. Now my first flap that I cut, if you're trying to follow along, this is 7/8 in its height for my base page. I'm such a silly girl, should have given this to you earlier. And then 9 3/4 in my width, and 9 7/8 in my height. So the 9 7/8 is going to be the same measurement all the way around. I'm just going to give you these if you're trying to make the album with me. It comes in at 5 1/8 with a 1/4 inch score line, and then a 3/4 inch score line. And then I've rounded the corners. And bear with me while I run a tad bit of tape. I'm going to remove the, no, I'm not. Okay, when I put this on, I want this gusset to stand up, what I refer to as in front of the album. So I'm coming right up to this score line, the 1/2 inch score line. Now, in different situations, I might be coming right up to that 3/4 inch score line. But on this scenario, I'm doing the 1/2 inch on this. And then I'm going to push back so that I can encourage that score line to do its job. And this is what I mean, standing in front of the base page. All right, so that's there. I just realized something and I'm not sure where they went. Well, we'll just, oh, sorry for the movement. I gotta make sure I'm still in frame here in the right direction. The magnets that I'm using are so strong, it clamped onto the base of my, that's holding my camera, my phone, and moved it when I tried to get to it. With these being such tall pages and rather long pages, I'm going to be using a magnet up here and then one down here. The challenge is getting them apart. So generally I try to have, generally I try to have this done, but I forgot. So that way you're not watching me fight with the magnets. I have to set these down or they're gonna, these magnets are so strong, I have had them actually bite me. They clamp onto my skin, and there's a mark right there where the two of them came together and like I said, bit me. That's the only way I can describe it. They are not easy to get apart. I have to really press and pull. All right, so now I'm going to repeat the process on this side. I'm going to come right up to that 1/2 inch score line. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over. And I am going to I got to separate these two. This is always the challenge. Let that find its mate. Let that find its mate. And then I'm going to, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. I got a little ahead of myself there. All right. These do not come with self-adhesive backs on them, and I get why they don't, but it would be nice if they did. I think I set those wrong. Well, yeah, see, I set that way too close to the edge. I need to move these in this way to back them off. Like I said, I usually try to set these when I don't have an audience, but I didn't quite think this one through. I set it aside because I was using some stickles on it, which I'll show you in a minute. And, oh, where'd it go? Huh. Hold on. Oh, we're having fun, aren't we? Well, come on. All right, there we go. Let's fold that over. Oh my goodness sakes. I didn't. What did I? Hey, this is the saga of the strong magnets. What are we doing here? Okay, I have to stop. I've got to think about what in the world I'm doing. That's okay. All right. I just need to take this tape off. Oh, I understand what I'm doing now. I am such a goof. Okay, close. Magnets, close. Everything's good now. So let's work on the outside pieces. They came from the same sheet of paper. And I am working with nothing but 12 by 12s. I did not buy any other size but the 12 by 12s. Okay, so this is the piece, and I cut it so that it would continue. Now what I did here on the front is I put little gold stickles in a couple of places just to add another nice little element. And I put stickles. These were red berries that were on these. So I put the stickles there. And I need to close this and see if that magnet is where it's supposed to be. No, it's fighting, so it means it's going in the wrong direction. There we go. I will come back to that. I need to put these down. Boy, I act like I'm a total novice. I think I didn't get enough coffee, or my karma is off today. I have no idea why, but I feel like I'm just having myself a grand old time here. Don't you just love watching something that's live and you can't tell me, you know, don't do that? Or, you silly idiot, why did you do it that way? And then I've said something on film I wished I hadn't have said. Like that. I've got to make sure that this is going to find its mate, and then I'm going to be able to get it off that paper. Like I said, I really don't get why I am struggling with this. It's not like I haven't done it a dozen times. Let's try this again. Okay. Now, before those magnets decide to go on another walkabout, I'm going to get my glue down on this. You know, when I first saw this paper collection, when it first came out, which has been almost a year ago, 9 months ago, It was so beautiful, but I was intimidated to play with it because of the images. And I just simply decided I was going to try and play with it and create my own version of the album. And I did something with this page that I rarely, if ever, do, and that's glue it down when I'm working with magnets. Usually I tape it down. But see, my karma's off. I wish I could stop this and start all over, but I'm too deep into it now and I can't. But back to what I was saying, the images on this is just stunning. And they're so huge. Stamperia likes to make large images. And then when you're playing with 12 by 12s, you end up having to make a fairly large album in order to really play with those images. And if you're playing with an 8 by 8, it is so much easier to play with the larger images and to make an album that you can get them in on. But I am not generally an 8 by 8 album person. I like to play with large images, and I like to make larger than normal albums. You know, we have photos that are 5 by 7, 4 by 6. So trying to put those in an 8 by 8 album just for me doesn't work. I don't want my whole album page to disappear because I'm trying to put a large photo in it. So these large albums that I make allow for 5 by 7s and 4 by 6s to go in and lay on them comfortably and still have the beautiful paper coming up in behind it. I had somebody ask me, why do you always make such large albums? Well, that's why. You have got to see what just took place, but I've got to get this in first before I start moving things around. I set this too low. I've got all the edge up there, and then this, I have no edge down at the bottom, so I do need to lift this. And I can honestly say if I'd done it with glue, I don't know that I could do this, because the art glitter glue that I work with dries so quickly. And what I want is a little bit of the, well, I'm committed now. I'm not going to lift that. I've got way too much over here, but I'm just going to leave it. It's my album, so I'm not giving it to anybody. Okay, now I want to show you what just happened. The whole box of magnets latched onto that one, and now they're standing straight up. Those are some crazy magnets. All right, so on the front, on this, I wanted to create a little bit of a focal point. So I'm using one of the chipboard pieces and then one of the ephemera pieces. So it's just kind of a matter of how I want that ephemera piece to look. So this is going to go down on top of it. I think I just want this to come in this way. And then this is going to come in right there. Yeah, that looks good. It's just a nice little accent behind the big leaf, and then I've got my little goldy pieces there. And then the last thing I want to put in is I'm putting in a pocket over here. So let's go ahead and get that in. Okay, let's get this last strip of tape off of here, and then I will be done with this signature. Okay, I'm coming right up next to that 3/4 inch score line. And then it was this side. Okay, so like I said, I've got my little gold stickles here, my red stickles here. I have a pocket, I have a double pocket here, plenty of room here for a nice photo, and then room here for a photo. You could even put a photo in here if you chose. All right, let's get this in the book. And then I can put the page behind me, you know, the saga of the magnets. Now the size of the base page, or the size of this entire signature, is going to warrant some tape to go down the center to help support the additional weight that will eventually come into this album. Let me get this burnished here, and then add some tape. Doesn't have to be a major amount of tape, it's just enough to help support this. All right. Let's get this in here. So this is going to line up almost to the edge, I do believe. What I've got to be mindful of is I've got this gusset right here. So I'd rather push all the way to the edge and leave this gusset unencumbered by the bulk that's going to come into it here. So let's take off just the middle strips, and I like to go this way so I can see 3 of the 4 sides when I'm putting this in. And then make sure it's straight. And then press. And then I will go in and remove the rest of the tape. Now when I do this, I want to make sure that this gusset stays straight and that it's not collapsing on me. I'll sneak in over here. And I always do my mounting this way. I will take off one strip at a time to make sure that the album is going in the right way, and then that way I'm not peeling off a bunch of tape if I've made a mistake. Top one off first. I'm sorry if I'm off camera, and then I'm sorry if I adjusted this and now it's in your face, but it is what it is. I can't help that too much. Okay. Burnish this so that that tape is really making contact. All right. So there we go. That's my first page. And I will be back shortly because I've already got this page ready to go. So I'll be back in a minute with that video. I'll see you then.